$25 for a loose disc at 3DO Street Fighter. They have XCOM in the long box. $60. That game sucks. Gentlemen, ladies, Sandamtod here, back again. Been a minute. It's been a minute since I did a pickup-y video. I've done a couple little response-y things, and I watched some Mortal Kombat. You all might have heard me not ranting, but kind of discussing my thoughts on the movies and the game itself. But anyway, it's time to do a pickups video. I've had some of this stuff sitting around a little while, but if you don't like the PlayStation 1, you're probably not going to dig this video, because I kind of got on a kick here in the last month or so where I dove into the PlayStation catalog searching for Longbox PlayStation 1 games. I hadn't really done a lot of research into it, and I always liked the long boxes, but I never, really put a whole lot of thought into them, as far as picking them up. And I had a few, and most of my collection is not long boxes, so I was like, well, it'd be kind of cool. I don't know how many there are to kind of see what's out there. And anyway, I was even misinformed, and a fellow YouTuber pointed me to a website. God damn, I wish I could remember your YouTube name right off the bat. I'm going to put a little bar that's going to have his YouTube name in it. Awesome, buddy. Thanks for pointing me to the site. It has all the long boxes listed in the different variants and stuff. And evidently there's 101 long box games. And then there's like this one that's kind of an anomaly, this game called Space Hulk, which I guess some boxes were sent out for promotional deals, long boxes, but it was never actually released in the long box. So there's like a couple of these long boxes floating around, so it's like ultra rare. So that's not really something to aspire to collect, but I had about 10 long box games. I had slowly kind of gotten a few. I originally had D, Alien Trilogy, and Silverload, Siberia. Those were my originals, I think, that I had. And then slowly over the last few years when I've been collecting, I picked up a few here and there, and I rebought Resident Evil. And then I had picked up a few more. And then recently I had picked up Top Gun, Fire at Will, which I did film some footage of. I think I'm going to refilm it. It's pretty funny. It's basically fly around, shoot some shit, but then there's these cuts with the guy from the movie and the bald guy that's like your superior officer, which is kind of funny. And the whole intro is like the Kenny Loggins song, but it's like not sung by Kenny Loggins, so it's like a rip-off Kenny Loggins song, Danger Zone, and then it goes into the game, and I don't know. It's all right, but you just gotta kind of see it. I'll try to piece something together. Maybe I could pull something out of the video that I filmed instead of refilming it. But anyway, it got me intrigued into the long boxes a little bit, and so I decided to comb around to the vintage stocks around here and see what they had, because going to the thrift store, I'm not going to it's like 1,000,000 to 1 shot I'd run into anything, but I knew some of the vintage stocks around here had a few of the long boxes on the shelf anyway, and I wanted to see what was out there. So I went to no less than 5 vintage stocks. I went to the one in Liberty, Blue Springs, Independence, Belton, the one off of not State Line, the one on the Kansas side, and I think there was another one that I went to. If I'm lying, I'm dying, but there's 5 that I went to, and one of them didn't have anything. Lee Summit store, and I might have said that one. God, I don't know. Anyway, we're not going to recap it. The Lee Summit store ended up having the most games out of any of them for sale. And actually, the Lee Summit store had a long box copy of the game XCOM, the original XCOM, before it was remade for this gen, in their case, but they wanted like $59.99 for it. They wanted like $60 for it, and I was like, I don't know if this is worth $60. It's a little pricier of some of the long box games, and it only came in the long box format. But $60 is about what it was going for, but online. But you know, I went back 3 or 4 days later, not to necessarily get it, but it was gone anyway. So anyway, I know for a fact there's still probably a half dozen or so games floating around a few of these stores that I let slide just for price reasons, because I wanted to check and see if I couldn't get them cheaper online, and a couple of them I let slide because they didn't have directions. But on the whole, I managed to pick up a total of 15 long box games in addition to the 10 I already had. Here's 10 of them. I'm going to do 10 of them in this video, and we'll do a separate video with 5, because actually this 10 was one weekend, and then that 5 was another weekend, and then I have some other pickups that I got with this and that, but I'm going to keep those separate as a third video. So let's kind of get into this. My deal was I really didn't want to pay over $9.99 for an individual game when I first went out. Now, I did break that rule on one game in the other set, but most of them were under $9.99 or around $9.99. The thing is I kind of was under a crapshoot with these. They were shrink wrapped. Actually, 4 of these 10 in this thing did not have the directions in them, which sucks. But for the price I paid, I didn't think it's that big of a deal. I've always stated I'd rather have the box than the directions and no box. But I figured, you know, even if you pick up a loose cart copy with directions or something on the cheap and you already have the box, then maybe you can complete it down the line. So I don't feel too bad about where I'm sitting here with these. Let's get started. The first one here is DEFCON 5. Now, I've never played DEFCON 5, but it looks like it's got some cinema in it, as well as it looks kind of like a shooter. I don't know if it's a mech shooter. It doesn't necessarily look like that, but this one was missing the directions, but it has the disc, and all of these, luckily, the teeth and everything on the case are good. So if I find some directions for this or find a loose cart with directions, I'm all set. But $6.99, I didn't think that was outrageous. Like I said, if it was under $10, I was pretty much grabbing it. And I'll state the ones at the end that I didn't pick up that I may still, go back and get. Here's another one. It's called, I don't know if you say it, I guess you say it like this, Criticom. It was only $2.99, no directions. Once again, this was another one that I was a little sad because there wasn't any directions, but these were shrink wrapped, and I didn't want to necessarily ask the dude, they were busy on the day, if they had if they knew if they had the directions in them or if they would unshrink wrap them. I actually did, after I got that first haul. Actually, I think 3 or 4 of these I got together. I think like 3 of them. When I got like 3 of them at once that didn't have the directions, I kind of went back and I started kind of, slitting the shrink wrap with my fingernail up the side and kind of peeking in to see if they had the directions or not. And one of them I went ahead and bought anyway. I'm trying to think of which one it was. It doesn't matter. We're going down the list here. This was funny because this is also part of the reason why I posted the video where I asked for responses about whether or not you've ever bought games to pad out a collection or to complete a collection. I have no intent on actually completing the PS1 Longbox collection. It won't happen. But in the beginning, when I first dive back into something that I find unique, or I know I've got an opportunity to go out and grab quite a few games, I kind of go nuts, especially if they're kind of cheap, and I'll pick up just about anything. And a couple of these ended up being sports games, and I probably won't ever play them. They were bought specifically because they were in good shape and they were cheap. But this is one of them. It's In the Zone basketball. 1 to 8 player on the multi-tap, it says, for $3. It is complete. And it even has the protective foam in it, which just basically keeps the directions from flopping around. But the directions look like they've never even been looked in. I didn't look in them. Game, one of those little magnetic things, which I hate when they stick them to cardboard because they end up ripping the cardboard. So I might just leave it on there. But this was $3. It actually looks like a pretty fun basketball game when I got to looking at some of the pictures down the side. Basketball and golf are two of the games that I'll play. Baseball, I don't want to play a baseball game. Football, I do like football, but when they started adding like the whole playbook and there's like 5 million plays and everything, I was like, fuck it, it ain't worth my time. But basketball, it's, you lane break, you pass, you steal, you shoot, it's pretty basic. So the next one, this one also is directionless, is Crazy Ivan. Crazy Ivan is a mech game. It does have some cinema in it as well. It looks like of Crazy Ivan. I guess the guy's name is Ivan. Missing the directions, but it does have the game. And these boxes are in good shape. Yeah, they have a little bit of wear where, you slide them back and forth on a table or something. You get a little bit of a track wear on them or something. Or even sliding them in and out of a bookshelf, you'll get some wear. But, they're in probably, pretty good shape, I feel, for an older system, with cardboard boxes. Actually, in this case, with these games, and, the clear case, even though it's the most fragile, here we go, here's a clear case one, $2.99, Total Eclipse. I actually have this game for my 3DO, but it's one of the clear cases. This one's on the hinges. Yeah, they're fragile, but at least you can tell it's complete, because you can see the directions through the tray. And you can see if it's got the back on it, so you know if it's complete before you even open it. So, and it had the foam in there. I might pirate these foams for my Sega CD collection. I don't know for sure. Haven't decided yet. $3 for that. So I mean, really, we'll total it up at the end. Another sports game, $3. This one I think is a variant on the box. That's kind of why I bought it. But it's NHL Face-Off. There's another variant where it says Sony Interactive Sports is not on there. And I don't know. I know that there is a variant where that's not on there. I don't know which is more rare. I doubt, if a sports game can be rare. But it's complete. Like I said, once again, the instruction book looks like it never been looked in the game. Ice hockey's not bad, too. This actually doesn't look that bad. I don't know. I just don't care about sports games. But I bought 2 of them. But they were $3 a piece, so, you know, what are you going to do? Here's something more like, I'm not really a huge racing guy either, but this looked kind of cool. It's called Off-World... What's it called? Off-World Interceptor. Off-World Interceptor Extreme. Extreme car-crushing combat. Sounded like a mix of a kind of a Twisted Metal and kind of a kart game or something. $6.99. This one is complete. It's got the directions here in the game. Some of these I had to do a little bit of work on. I mean, as far as gluing back down the artwork on the sides where it kind of peeled up. You just use some hobby glue and a little paintbrush, you know, like you would use to do watercolors or whatever, you know, and paint it on real thin and just rubber band it and then wash your brush out so your bristles don't get all hard. And voila! Here's another one. Here's another one. I got 3 left. I'm actually moving pretty quick for me. This game is the final one, I think, that's missing the directions. $4.99. Descent. This one I think I've played. Actually, I'm pretty sure I've played it. It's not bad. But like I said, it's missing the directions. These 2 left are the ones I was kind of most excited about. This one's $4.99. It's called Wipeout. There is a variant on this box as well. I think this one is the more rare of the 2 variants on the box when I checked. But it's kind of almost looks like a Extreme G or maybe a pod racer style game, but this came out before those games, or maybe about the same time, I don't know. Foam, instructions, and the game itself. Pretty cool. And the final one, this one was the one I was most stoked to kind of get out of this group. The other group actually is almost, I think one of the games is kind of, but the other ones I was really excited to get. This one, I don't know, it just looked cool when I saw it on the shelf. I don't know that I've actually played this particular one, but I have played this series before. It's Romance of the Three Kingdoms 4. Wall of Fire. And I paid $9.99 for it, but it is complete. And the instruction booklet is fat on this one. It's not in color, but the instruction booklet's 48 pages, which is pretty hefty for, you know, an instruction booklet. And the game itself. But what I really like about these, and the black cases especially, they would line the inner part of the case with artwork as well as the outside. Nowadays they'll use the clear cases and you can see the artwork through, which I really like. And one thing I've never understood is, like, on some of my PlayStation 2 games, especially like God of War 1 and 2, I mean, I put a clear case on my God of War 1, but God of War 2 is a dual disc case, and it's got artwork on both sides of the thing, but the case isn't transparent. So I've never understood why you would go to the trouble to print artwork on the opposite side and not be able to actually see it. But anyway, that was the 10 games I picked up. I've got, like I said, another 5, but I'm going to cut you a break and not make you sit through a marathon, because I've got more to say on those other games maybe than these. A lot of these games I I don't know that I've actually played them, especially the sports games. I do recall playing Total Eclipse, but I think I played it on the 3DO, and Descent. The rest of them I'm going to check out. We may do some videos just checking them out. So anyway, in addition to the 10 that I had, I picked up these 10 more. And then I got 5 over there in a bag that I'm going to do in a separate video for you. And so my total on Longboxes for the PlayStation has grown to 25, which is quite a few. It seems like most of the time when I see people's Longbox collections online, they have about 15 to 20. You know, I haven't seen somebody that's really got a fat Longbox collection like over 50 or 60 titles. I'd like to. I just don't know if anybody's got that many, or if whoever has that many, it hasn't done a video. And there's lots of guys out there, but I mean, when I try to Google search it or whatever, I never really come up with anything. Now, the ones that are still floating around out there that I didn't pick up, that I can think of offhand, there was one called, like, it was a baseball game. It was like Hardball 5 or something. There was like a track and field game, events or something. I don't know, not stadium events, but some kind of track and field something. I don't remember. It was one of the earlier games. Chess Master. I know there's a couple copies of that at the Independence one. Those are the ones I think from the Independence store. So there's 3 there that I didn't pick up. Chess Master, I thought about getting it, but they want $10 for it, and I wasn't in the mood to pay $10 for Chess Master. Hardball, I think, was only a couple of bucks. I may still pick that one up. But then again, I'm like, I never play baseball games. I just said I never play them, and still I'm like, I might buy it just to fatten out my collection. I didn't say I don't do it when I posted the video. I asked if you all do it. I have a habit of doing it, especially when I'm trying to fill out a shelf, I guess. Let's see. Out at the Vintage Stock in Liberty, I know they've got College Slam, which is another basketball game. College basketball at that, but it was in good shape. They had Need for Speed. They had something called, like, DNA Key-Cack or Key-Lack, I don't know, DNA something. And in their case, they had 2 games. One of them I bought, and it's in the other lot over there that I'm going to do in a separate video that I've said for the 4th time. The other one is called Discworld. And it was complete. It was in their case. They want $25 for it. And I didn't know if that is a good price for Discworld or not. So I let it slide. It looked like it had been there a minute, so I'm not sure that it will disappear like XCOM did out at the Lee Summit store. I'm trying to think if the Lee Summit store had anything else I wanted out there. I think they had a wrestling game of some kind, like WWF Royal Rumble or something. It was, I think it was Royal Rumble out there. So that's, you know, that's 6 or 7 games. Out at the Belton store, they had some Aerosmith Generation X or something, and a game called, like, Bust a Move 2 or something. It was like, it looked like a Bejeweled type of, I don't know, something like that. And there was another game that was like a flight shooter that I really didn't care about, but it was another game. So that's 3, 4, 7. That's 10 or 11 more games out there that are floating around. But part of it was price, that I didn't want to pay the price, or I just didn't care for the game enough. I think the Bust a Move was $10 or $12, and the Aerosmith was like $10, and you know, the Flight Shooter I just didn't care about. I almost bought College Slam, and I put it back on the shelf because I decided to pay a little extra for one of the games in the other group. I don't know. So there are some still out there that I'm kind of tempted to kind of go back and kind of get, maybe, if I don't find a better price online. There were 5 games that I really wanted going into this, and I have 2 of them over there. The 3 I'm still looking for is I'd like to get Primal Rage in the long box. I'd also like to get Psychic Detective, which is a game I have for the 3DO. It seems a little harder to find on the PS1. And also, they released Road Rash in the long box on the PlayStation, and I'd like to get that as well. So those 3 are ones that I really want, that I'm probably going to have to buy off the internet, which is fine. But I'm probably going to have to pay a little extra for them. I think I saw a copy of Primal Rage, no instruction book, for like $12.99 or something online, but it seemed like the complete ones people were wanting like $40 and $50 for, and I was almost like, shit, I'll pay $12.99 and just have no instruction book. Road Rash, I don't recall even seeing one that I thought was reasonably priced, and I don't know. Psychic Detective, I think all I saw was a disc only, or discs only version, because I think it's got 2 discs. I know it's got like multiple discs on this, on the 3DO. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. That was a quick video for my PlayStation fans. When I get these other 5 done, we'll lay the 25 side by side, and we'll show them all in a row. So not in a row like me holding them up going, but you know, in a line. So, and like I said, I've got some other pickups, not just some games, but a couple of movie things that I picked up that I'm going to wait on so we can get this video rough together. So